Hi my lovely friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Maya. If you're new here, welcome. This video is very exciting because it is my 11 sustainable tips for being at home during quarantine. I know a lot of us are obviously spending a lot of time at home and hopefully being comfortable in our space and in making it as nourishing and inviting and homey as possible. I have noticed within myself that I've been slacking on my sustainability tips more than usual, so I'm making this video not only to remind you all but myself to take care of the environment and myself, because we're all one. So the environment is a reflection of us, so if we're taking care of our home, we're taking care of ourselves and our neighbors, and everyone's happy. Yay! If you're interested in knowing some sustainability tips for being at home during current quarantine, then keep watching the video. I have my trusty notebook here to give me help. I wrote them down here. My first tip is having to do with water. Cutting your showers, cutting the time you brush your teeth, and the amount of time you let the water run when you're like doing the dishes in half, if possible. Being at home, we're very comfortable. We want to clean up and stuff, but I think a lot of us use a lot of water and it's not necessary. Like having my mom here, I can see how she just runs the water when she's not even using it. She'll just walk away from the sink entirely, just leave the water running, like leave the room entirely, and the water will still be running. I'm like, yo, you can turn that off. Like, that's not, you like the sound, you can just play some white noise music in the background. You don't have to use actual water. And that even includes toilet. Like, I try to, this is TMI, but I try to only flush when it's more than a number one, or if there's so much pee in the toilet it's becoming disgusting, then I flush. But I'm mindful of the amount of times I flush and the amount of water that's being ran when I take showers. I usually take baths. I try not to take more than one bath a day. When I'm really stressed or anxious, I do take a lot of baths. A good tip is to even like leave the cold water in and let some out, and then add some more hot water, so you're not having to start over the bath entirely if you're going to do multiple baths a day. When I brush my teeth, I turn off the water, and alongside with that, you can collect the water that you use. My partner, his parents, they have a bucket in their shower, and so whenever they take a shower, the excess water is being collected, and then they can use that to dump into the garden or to use for whatever they need water for. I think that's such a cool idea. I don't do any water conservation like that. I am strongly considering it. I do have a shower that's a stand-up shower, but it's quite big and the water doesn't really reach to the corner for like a bucket would. But I'm gonna look into that, and hopefully I'll start being able to start collecting my own water as well, because water is a renewable resource because we have an abundance of it, but clean water isn't. So it's good to be thankful that we have clean water to use just magically out of the pipes when we turn it on. The third tip is to turn off the lights when you're not in a room. Once again, we're being comfortable. We want to relax and sprawl out. This is our home, or you're in your own home. I'm just mindful of leaving the lights on when I leave a room. I don't do that. I turn off all the lights immediately, and try to use some candles if you can. I'm lucky I like to make candles, so I have a lot of abundance of candles all around me. I try to burn them instead of using a light if I can, electronic light if I can, and I definitely turn off the lights when I leave a room. Tip number 4 is to use public transit if you can. Take the bus, take the train, walk, take a bike. Lower your carbon emissions if you can. Take Lyft or Uber. I know these companies are problematic for other reasons, like how they treat their workers and stuff. But in terms of carpooling, it's helpful for the environment. One thing that's interesting, I think, that has gone on during quarantine is that carbon emissions have really lowered because people are staying at home more, which, so the environment's doing much better. And that's, you know, a bittersweet nugget of sweetness that has come out of being in quarantine and being shelter in place happening. So if we can try to keep that going, I think that's great. Since moving into this house, I don't live downtown. I used to live in downtown San Francisco, and so I could just walk anywhere. The bus, so many bus lines around me, the BART was around me. Here, living where I live now in this neighborhood, it's a little bit more far out. I can still get there, but I definitely, me and my partner do drive more. So I want to remind myself to take public transit more, because not only do you see like more of the city, it just feels more free and more communal than just being in your car looking out the window. You get to experience more of the city when you get to be on the bus or walk around. I like to skateboard too, so skating around is always fun. So yeah, that's a resolution I want to embark in, is not relying on driving so much. My 5th tip is something else that have been slipping up on, and that is cooking more at home. Since quarantine has been happening, I've been eating out more, strangely enough, but taking it in, so having takeout more, just because the grocery store, you know, there's a line or whatever, I don't feel like going, so I live further away. So it's been easier just to order Chinese or pizza. It's just not as sustainable, especially if you're doing takeout, because they're having to use the gas to drive it to you. So if you do takeout, try to pick it up if you can. But if you can, just eat it at home, because it's more sustainable for your health and your wallet, and I think the environment, because you know where the food is coming from, and you know, like, you're not running the water, or you can make the food as sustainably as you can, making it local. So that's my next tip, is to try to eat local if you can, and in season as well. So what I mean by local, obviously, is like not having your food imported to you. Try to just get things that can be grown in your state or wherever you live, and make sure it's in season, so that you're not eating, like, you know, GMO crops or whatever to make it in season for you at that time, anytime that's not natural. So trying to eat more consciously, which brings me to my next point, which is to eat vegan. Veganism is more sustainable because the meat industry uses a lot of water, and vegetable and fruit crops is less harsh on the environment, less hard, like on the land, on the water, in the air, less harsh overall, less harsh on your body. So eating veganism does save the planet. If you're not a vegan, trying to make the steps to go towards veganism by making like a meal a day vegan, which is so easy, that goes a long way. Same with eating raw. If you can make one meal, this is what I do. I make at least one meal I eat a day, a raw vegan meal. Today I had a salad. It was so yummy. I just got these teak bowls from Thailand that are really, really special to me. I ordered them from Depop, and the person, I'll write their name here, they were so lovely. I ordered a few things from them, and they threw in a free plant. So isn't that so nice? They dropped off the items directly to my home, because they live in San Francisco too, so that was really cool. I felt like it was like Christmas, my birthday or something. That brings me to the next tip, which is to shop secondhand. Shop secondhand if you can, everything. If you're looking for anything, look on Craigslist, look at Facebook Marketplace. You'd be surprised how many people are selling that exact thing that you want. And, you know, manifest, baby. Go into a thrift store knowing what you want, this latest fashion trend or whatever, and know that you'll find it, and I guarantee you will, and it'll feel so much better, because secondhand, you know, there's only one of kind of it. There's no one else has it that you know of, that you'll see on the street most likely. I like to shop at Depop and thrift stores like Goodwill and stuff, but it's harder now that quarantine is happening. I still have been shopping quite a bit on Depop and Etsy as well. So you're helping sustain local artists and local entrepreneurs. And yeah, and you're helping the environment, the world, by purchasing something that has been used before, have a second purpose. If you like this art that I have hanging up here, I actually made that and it's for sale on my Etsy. So if you like it, check it out. Link is on my YouTube page on the right hand corner on the top. There's a link to it. There's also a link to my Depop because I sell a lot of my clothes on Depop. I really love secondhand and reusing things. I think that is a big concern we have as a humans, as a species, is we make a lot of waste. We have unnecessary waste, and we have all this abundance around us that we don't utilize, and we just create more and then throw it away and then expect it to not come back and bite us. So if we can think twice and try to have an item have more than one purpose, this is the best way and most sustainable way to live. That's my next tip, is to use something more than once, or use something for a different purpose than what you bought it for, so it can have two purposes. An example of this is like my bathtub. When we moved in, our bathtub didn't have a stopper, so how I take baths is I just put like a dirty, like torn up rag and I stuff it in there, and that's my stopper. My mom asked, like, why don't you just order one from Amazon? And I was like, because that works. Same thing, like if you have a peanut butter jar, you buy a jar of pasta or sauce or whatever, and you're done with it, you can use that jar over and over as a cup or as a water bottle or something like that. The possibilities are endless. You have to use your imagination and look around your house, and instead of, you need new art supplies, look around your house for what you can use for art supplies and try that out. Use the dirt, use the leaves. That's true artistry. Having things have more than one purpose is the most sustainable way to live, and having us all we're all at home during quarantine right now, so we can really like look at what we don't need and look at what we do need, and how we expand the uses of the things that we need. My next tip is to use compost bags. I know that in California it was like mandatory to bring your own bags everywhere, but now since we have to be mindful of germs infecting others, you can't use bring your own bags to grocery stores. You have to use their bags. And I know that the grocery stores that I use, they have compostable bags that you can put your produce in, since you can't bring your own right now. I feel like in other places of the world you use plastic bags. So if you can, try to use compost bags if that's an option. That's really obvious, but obviously plastic, we want to minimize the amount of plastic we use because it's not biodegradable, and compostable bags are. Next tip is to compost. I'm lucky San Francisco has compost, like they pick up the garbage, the recycling, and the compost. So I have a bin that's meant for my compost, but not all places do. A lot of places that I lived before didn't have that. So you should compost, because to have your decompostable trash thrown away with the not biodegradable trash is wasting that compostable trash, and it can be broken down into energy, or when you recycle, it can be recycled in something new and given a new purpose. But because you just throw away altogether, that it doesn't have an opportunity to have its energy being used more in our society. Be more sustainable, obviously compost and recycle. I keep my compost in the freezer, so whenever I just have a big bag and I put all the extra food bits or whatever in the freezer, and then I when the bag fills up, we throw it in the compost bag. If you don't have a compost, if you have a garden, you can make a compost pile. I don't know if that's like sanitary to do or like bad for raccoons or stuff, but whatever, nature. My next tip is garden and grow your own food if you can. I have my first garden that I've ever had in my whole life, and it is making me so happy. I'm gonna do a garden tour soon, so be on the lookout for that if you're interested in, if you're like a green thumb or like a garden person like me. My partner built the garden bed by hand, so it's really, really beautiful. I'm excited to film that video soon for you all. So grow your food if you can. Obviously it's more sustainable because you're not using pesticides, you're not using transportation or motor vehicles, you're not, you know, outsourcing all these different things to have your food be grown. You're growing it based on the energy of your own two hands and your own body. So that's really sustainable because you're using the energy, you're making the circle happen. You're putting the energy into the food. The food is going to put the energy back into you. So that's awesome. When you have a direct relationship to something, you're more in tune with it and less likely to abuse it. Growing your own food is a definite privilege, and I think we all should start doing it more and know how. So if you have the privilege to do that, please take the opportunity to, because not only are you saving yourself, saving the environment and all of us. So yay! The environment needs to be cared for and looked after by us. We are its caretakers. It is our mother. The next tip is to not wash your clothes as much as you can without having to like risk your personal hygiene levels. But you know, having to being in quarantine, I'm definitely not wearing as many clothes as I would typically in a normal day-to-day life. So I'm able to wear the same outfits over and over again. And I find that very like comforting, because I don't have to think about like doing laundry, and I can be more sustainable to the environment. Especially pants. My partner wears their pants over and over again, and I know a lot of people who do too, especially like jeans and stuff. It might seem gross, but I think, hey, it's natural. There's nothing like foreign going on. It's your own body, it's your own pants, and you're gonna wash it eventually. You're helping the environment out. Alongside with that, you know, try not to bathe every day. Maybe that will work out. I bathe I think I bathe enough, but definitely since quarantine has been going on, I'm not using this bath. I'm not taking as many baths or showers as I usually do. So that's really great for being more sustainable and saving water. My next tip and my last tip for being more sustainable to the environment during quarantine is to take care of yourself, to eat healthy, to make sure you're drinking enough water, getting enough rest, and exercising your body every single day, and thinking good thoughts, being gentle with yourself and kind. A lot is going on in the world, and a lot's transitioning in our realities into a higher, more elevated, more aligned, more abundant version. So we need to all hang in there and be gentle with ourselves. As you know, the darkness rises, we need to just give it some love and light to have it be faded away with peace. We are going through a lot of transitions, a lot of upheavals going on, so we need to all be more peaceful and more loving than normal, more patience. So doing yoga and journaling and doing all the spiritual work that you do for yourself is important now more than ever, because the earth needs to be balanced, because a lot's going on in our society as humans. Treat yourself as you would this dying, suffering planet. Treat yourself as you would an injured child. Be kind to yourself, and I love you so much. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. When you see this, I actually have made a Patreon, so if you enjoy seeing me and want to support me, I'll link it down below. Head on over to my Patreon channel and I'll see you over there. Bye everyone. I love you so much. Talk to you soon.